remarks in the White House on immigration. It already ended. He delivered his remarks. It's dumb as fuck. He's a dumbass. We'll get started on the immigration thing. President Biden securing our border. Now, obviously, the reason why they're doing this, for the record, is because, well, one, because they're dumb, racist assholes. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way real quick. Start with India? No, bitch. I'm not going to start with India. You don't get to dictate the content today, okay? Or on any other day. Like, what are we doing here? No, there's no top of the hour. It's 11:49. Okay? Don't come at me like that. That's ridiculous. Oh, kind of have more important things to handle than a fake crisis at the border. Okay, y'all are being annoying. Oh, my God. All right, we'll get started on the press conference. But yeah, we are a nation led by dumb, old, out of touch, reactionary white men. And of course, as is the case, the Democratic Party is doing the absolute worst thing that they could possibly do and lean into their worst possible instincts, as always. As expected, Democratic Party had better chances on immigration and a better way to captivate like a young Latino voter base in places like Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, places that allowed them to win, mind you. Okay. And they decided, you know what? This election is going to be built around the suburbs. Okay. It's going to be built around the mother freaking suburbs, baby. And guess what? That's what we care about. We don't care about anybody else. We are going to do the most right-wing thing we possibly could do. And after only 4 years ago, running on the exact opposite policies that he is now implementing and celebrating, we're just going to say, fuck it. YOLO. Let's do it.
What the Republicans in Congress refuse to do. Take the necessary steps to secure our border. 4 months ago, after weeks of intense negotiation between my staff and Democrats and Republicans, we came to a clear bipartisan deal. It was the strongest border security agreement in decades. But then, Republicans in Congress, not all, but walked away from it. Why? Because Donald Trump told them to. He told the Republicans, it has been published widely by many of you, that he didn't want to fix the issue. He wanted to use it to attack me. That's what he wanted to do. It was a cynical and an extremely cynical political move, and a complete disservice to the American people who are looking for us to not to weaponize the border, but to fix it. Today, I'm joined by a bipartisan group of governors, members of Congress, mayors, law enforcement officials, most of whom live and work along the southern border. They know the border is not a political issue to be weaponized.
Dog, are we pro-Trump now? What? Pro-Trump? Why would we be pro-Trump? If I was pro-Trump, I'd be elated at the fact that his enemy right now, his political enemy who he's running against, has basically given him the greatest gift of all, which is legitimacy to the lies that he has spread for years alongside the Republican Party for decades about how immigrants are a national security problem. Okay? If I was pro-Trump, I'd be like, hell yeah, bitch, look at this old fucking asshole. He's right. Joe Brandon, it's such a big problem. Even these commie, godless, pedophile, vampire monsters recognize how much of a rapist immigrants are, and that's why they're doing this asylum seeker bill. And that's precisely why I'm going to keep voting for Donald Trump. He's been right all along. That's it.
The responsibility we have to share to do something about it. They don't have time for the games played in Washington, and neither do the American people. So today, I'm moving past Republican obstruction and using the executive authorities available to me as president to do what I can on my own to address the border. Frankly, I would have preferred to address this issue through bipartisan legislation because that's the only way to actually get the kind of system we have now that's broken, fixed, to hire more Border Patrol agents, more asylum officers, more judges. But Republicans have left me no choice. Today, I'm announcing actions to bar migrants who cross our southern border unlawfully from receiving asylum. Migrants will be restricted from receiving asylum at our southern border unless they seek it after entering through an established lawful process. And those who seek to come to the United States legally, for example, by making an appointment and coming to a port of entry, asylum will still be available to them, still available. But if an individual chooses not to use our legal pathways, if they choose to come without permission and against the law, they'll be restricted from receiving asylum and staying in the United States. This action will help us gain control of our border, restore order into the process. This ban will remain.
Bro, this is like, I hate this man so much more than I ever thought I would 1 year ago. Yeah. I love that this is like Brandon literally looking at the situation and going, honestly, Jack, let me tell you, okay, are we going to be bold? Are we going to be brave? Are we going to lead by example? Fuck no. We are going to do all of the worst things the Democratic Party has done so consistently throughout the years in an election that should not even be remotely close, just like in 2016. An election that should not be close at all is now going to turn into an election that, you know, the Republican Party might actually win. Do you now support protecting the U.S. border? I don't understand. Okay, let's get this out of the way. All right, let's get this out of the way. Yes, I support border protection only at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break. If you want the borders of this fucking stream to not be perished at the top of the hour with a 3-minute ad break with some bullshit ass fucking ad break segues like that, okay, then you have to subscribe. All right, it just becomes so annoying at the top of the hour. Every 10 minutes up until the top of the hour, every chatter becomes like the most annoying fucking gray name, okay, in an effort to get my attention and an effort to try to get me to be baited. All right. So, yes, we're doing it. We're not, the two-parters are getting annoying. They're getting to me. Okay. Here's the 3-minute ad break now at the top of the hour. It's not even $5 any longer. It's going to be $6 or free with a Twitch Prime. Yeah. Would you stop if you could? What do you mean? I vote we ban 2-part base. There's an art in getting you with a single message over slacking. I agree. Twitchflation. Inflation has hit Twitch as well, folks. In any case, I personally find it insane. As I don't understand, I thought the migrants who come through the border illegally are at risk of being taken advantage of as slaves. What? Are you also trying to do a bait? Like, what's happening here? What's happening? 27-month subscriber. What? I'm ignorant. Okay. I don't understand. I thought the migrants who come through the border illegally are at risk of being taken advantage of as slaves. Yes, there's a 2-tier labor process in this country. The only way to solve that labor process, the only way to solve that structure is okay, by legalizing the undocumented migrants. The entire criminalization of like voluntary travel into the borders of the United States was designed specifically was designed specifically so that there is a two-tier labor system in this country with a hyper-exploitable group of individuals. Everything that I just talked about, however, is not something that is a national security issue. It is, and you might recognize this immediately, it's an economic issue. That's it. We destroy the global South. We cause political instability. We cause chaos in an effort to extract their natural resources and oftentimes their labor as well. Then, in that chaos and instability, people obviously are escaping that chaos and instability, and they want to come into the United States of America looking for a better life, a better future for themselves, and security and safety for their children. Then when they come into America, we go, oh, thank God. What a perfect opportunity. Come in, come right in. You are illegal now. And what that means is you have to work for the shittiest wages, the worst conditions possible. Yeah, we will not give you this piece of paper that says you can just do this legally, which would give you a set of protections, albeit meager protections, but protections nonetheless, so that we can even further exploit you. Then we can also use this never-ending pool of migrants coming in to work because they're in desperate conditions as a way to depress wages for the documented working class. For the documented labor force, we will say, hey, you don't have to do this stuff. We have slaves already for it, okay? Damn near slave wages. It's beautiful. We bake it into our profit margins. The entirety of the American agricultural output is reliant on undocumented labor. What? The Biden 24 campaign might genuinely be worse than Hillary 2016. All signs point to 18 to 35 vote deciding the election, and currently Trump is more popular in the candidate age range, not because there are more Republicans in that age group, but because so many people in that age group fucking hate Brandon, but Brandon wants to push on with policies that are strongly abhorred by the age group. Genius. It's because the 18 to 35 age demographic does not go out and vote. It's a minor percentage of people that go out and vote. And instead of trying to captivate them, trying to actually get them to vote for the first time, even in many instances, or vote at all, well, that takes a lot of time and effort, and it changes your basic policy calculus too. The Brandon camp is looking at likely voters. People who have voted, people who love voting, people who come when they think about voting. You know, age demographics where people are voting by much higher percentages than the 18 to 35 demographic. Those guys are reactionary. Those guys are right-wing. Those guys are really worried about immigration. Now, part of the problem in this conversation is that there's no alternative. There's no media machine fucking pushing in the same way that like the right-wing propaganda outlets regularly pump out anti-immigrant sentiment. Local news is also pretty fucking right-wing. Shouts out to Sinclair Broadcasting. It's all a monopoly now. And they're also running the whole like immigrant crime panic narrative on a regular basis for two different reasons. One, because if it bleeds, it leads, and everybody knows that. And two, this kind of right-wing sentiment is great. It's great. Gets people to watch. Fear sells. So people inevitably start developing these incredibly right-wing attitudes towards immigration. But one thing that you guys need to understand is that Americans are very stupid. Many people are very stupid. Americans are also very stupid. I'm an American. I'm stupid as well, just so you understand. But the one thing that if you consistently look at Americans, the one consistent thing that all American voters will always tell you is that they are fucking inconsistent. What do I mean by this? The median voter in the United States of America simultaneously will want to deport all immigrants from this country violently, while also will tell you in the same breath that they actually think all immigrants that are here deserve amnesty. You think I'm lying? You think I must be joking? Look at the polls. You will see violent deportations become increasingly more popular in the same exact demographics, in the same exact groups, oftentimes in the same exact mind that believes in amnesty for 11 million undocumented migrants currently living on U.S. soil. How crazy is that? How unimaginably crazy is that? It's not crazy. It's America, baby. And therefore, I always look at a situation like this. I always look at the cognitive dissonance demonstrated by American voters. And I think to myself, why don't you use this to your advantage? It's obviously, both of these two opinions are in people's minds. Why the fuck are you going in the easy route? Why are you going along with what you perceive as the easier method, which is leaning on the fucking polls? They see the polls, they panic, and they go, oh, well, we got to do the same thing we've always done. Go more right wing. Very, very, very stupid stuff. Very stupid stuff. And when the Democratic Party does not present a strong counter to the Republican Party, or even put forward legislation that the Republicans must react to and keep their attention on, then all of a sudden the Republicans lead the conversation. And that is how you arrive at the ratchet effect. That is how you arrive at Brandon literally going in a 4-year timeline, in a 4-year span. Brandon goes from being like, no person is criminal, no one is illegal, Jack, I'm going to be doing amnesty in the first 100 days of my election, all the way to, we should kill migrants ourselves. I'm Brandon. I'm the migrant destroyer. Something to consider. Okay? Here it is. A few months ago, I shared a study from Oxford showing that when liberals adopt the policies and narratives of the right wingers, they lose support and push their countries towards the fascists. Biden and many Democrats, in so many ways each day, are walking us off the cliff, something that I've been warning about for quite some time. As a matter of fact, you guys know this. I've been talking about this literally for years. It is one of the classic Hasanabi staples on this fucking broadcast is, if you capitulate to the right, all you've done is basically galvanize them. They are not coming at this issue from a point of real facts. They're not looking at this analytically. They're not looking at this critically. They're not looking at the facts of the matter. They are hysterical. They are crazy. They are oftentimes racist. So when you look at the racist fucking hysteria, the racist panic that they're cultivating, and you don't go, hey, that's actually racist hysteria. Fuck off with that bullshit. Here are the facts. And instead go, sorry, the racist hysteria is far too fucking popular, so we're going to have to go with that instead of launching a counter. You end up capitulating to the right, and you end up saying they are right. They're correct. This happens all the time. This happened with the defund the police momentum. This happened with the crime panic. And it's fucking stupid. Because that is bad politics and it's bad policy. You lose seats when you do that. You lose popularity when you do that. Because people go, okay, well, you admit that immigrants are rapists too. Why the fuck would I vote for you? I'm going to vote for the guy who said immigrants are rapists for the past 8 years. Do you understand? You can never outflank the right on racism. They own it. You can never outflank the right on patriotism. They own it. Patriotism in the way that Americans understand it is very different than like patriotism in the way that you might understand it, but it doesn't matter. Democrats try anyway, and they lose all the time. Look at Amy McGrath versus Kentucky's very own demon from hell. Look at what happened to her. The Republicans ran that dog shit ass campaign, and they were like, look at our butch lesbian who is in the Air Force. She was melting children in Afghanistan. She was melting children in the Air Force in Iraq. You have to vote for her. And that fucking dipshit Mitch McConnell still posterized her ass. Okay? When will we learn from the lessons of the past? When? John Kerry did this. They called him gay. Literally. John Kerry against George W. Bush. George W. Bush never served in the military adequately. John Kerry's a Vietnam War veteran with a Purple Heart. Democratic Party put him forward. You know what the Republicans said? You're gay, dog. You're fucking gay. You're a homosexual. You do windsurfing. Who does windsurfing, bro? Gay guys, okay? I'm not voting for a gay man. That's it. It was over. They literally went out and said, your Purple Heart is fake. You're gay. What'd you get it for? Sucking a dick? Literally. They were like, oh, dude, you were against the Vietnam War, even though you served in the Vietnam War, even though you were a part of the military in the Vietnam War and got a fucking Purple Heart. Wow, that's quite unpatriotic. The Vietnam War was awesome. In 2000, think about, oh, not 2000, sorry. In 2004, not in 2000. Think about that. In 2004, these motherfuckers were like, nah, the Vietnam War was sick. How dare you? How dare you talk shit about the Vietnam War? And the Democrats saw that and were like, you know what, guys? We should keep doing this over and over again. It will work inevitably. And it never did. Here.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
In which direction would John Kerry lead? Kerry voted for the Iraq War, opposed it, supported it, and now opposes it again. He bragged about voting for the $87 billion to support our troops before he voted against it. He voted for education reform and now opposes it. He claims he's against increasing Medicare premiums, but voted 5 times to do so. John Kerry, whichever way the wind blows.
Yeah, they were like, you're gay, dog. You windsurf. Gay guys do that. You're fucking windsurfing. Do you understand? Yeah, and he's a flip-flopper. He's really gripping that thing. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, who's more patriotic in real terms? Of course, John Kerry is. It is the most patriotic thing to, like, one, be drafted to fucking fight in an unjustifiable war, recognize how violent it is, and speak out against it, okay? That's patriotism. Learning from your mistakes. That's patriotism. Right? It's also infinitely more patriotic from the American mindset, right? This is what we make movies about. And yet, they love the fucking drunk driving asshole because they don't care. Okay? They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And you're a fucking idiot for turning around and going, yeah, you know what? Although there is no factual accuracy or real basis for the way that Republicans have created and cultivated this white nativist anti-immigrant sentiment in this country, saying that immigration is a national security problem and not an economic problem that must be solved by legalizing immigration and offering pathways to citizenship, but instead by consistently creating a fucking panicked narrative built around white supremacist attitudes, even though there is no real factual basis for having these opinions. As a matter of fact, the facts show the exact opposite of what we are presenting. Maybe the Republicans are right because, sorry, they're far too popular now. This narrative is far too fucking popular. It is ridiculous. Why are they doing this? And let me tell you why they're doing it. I'll tell you why. One, because this is, they have miscalculated and think that this is like far too popular of an agenda. Okay? This is far too popular. The people are like, we're terrified of immigration. No one is asking why people are terrified of immigration. Everyone's simply saying we're terrified of immigration. No one is asking the question, how do we like deal with this? How do we educate the people? Okay? That like their fears are born out of racist panic that they've been whipped into a frenzy by fucking Fox News and all these other outlets. Okay. Number one, They are miscalculating and think that like a lot of people think that like someone's got to do something about immigration. Oh my God, that's what the polls show. That's what the polls show. That's what the polls show, right? And the other reason why they're doing it is, and perhaps this is even fucking stupider than the first reason, they're doing this to show hypocrisy. They're doing this to be like, see, the Republicans don't care about killing migrants. I do. Bitch, you're a Democrat. The fuck do you mean? You are a fucking idiot for this. You are dumb as fuck for this. Okay? This is bad politics and bad policy. This is handing a gift. It's great. Wonderful, wonderful triangulation, sir. Thank you for going against every single policy position that you ran on 4 years prior when you were objectively seen as much more favorable than you are seen now on the issue of immigration. 4 years ago, when Donald Trump was melting migrants, okay, when he was melting migrants, Joe Brandon, as you guys recall, ran on a pro-immigration agenda. At that point, the difference between who can handle the migrant crisis better was in the margins, infinitely closer for Joe Biden. And the many gains that he got from that, beyond the fact that they were infinitely closer, okay, than they are now, the many gains he got from that was obviously a shit ton of fucking support from second generation migrant children in very important states that are now blue that maybe won't be blue this time around. However, we, of course, immediately went back on that shit. His first 100 days promises were all cast aside instantaneously. And now he's trying to outflank Donald Trump on immigration. Bro, that's the build the wall guy, bro. That's the immigrants are rapists guy, bro. You can't outflank him. Because if you say, guess what, Jack, immigrants are rapists, he's going to tomorrow turn around and be like, immigrants are actually no longer rapists. They're even more evil than being rapists. Okay, they're super rapists. They're getting shot with like rape serum before they come into the country. He will always find a way to be more racist than you. Okay? And he has already. He literally has. Brandon is over here being like, yeah, that's right. We're cutting off asylum seekers. What is Trump doing? We are going to deport 11 million migrants living in this country. We are going to deport 11 million people that have been living in this country for 10 years or even longer. Okay? That's insane. Look what you did.
Remain in place until the number of people trying to enter illegally is reduced to a level that our system can effectively manage. We'll carry out this order consistent with all our responsibilities under international law, every one of them. In addition to this action, we recently made important reforms in our asylum system, more efficient and more secure reforms. The goal is to deliver decisions on asylum as quickly as possible. The quicker decision means that a migrant...
Bro, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Here, let me cut a fucking ad for you right now, Republican Party. Let me cut a goddamn ad for you right now. If I am a Republican operative, this is what I do. Okay? Biden in 2020 ran against our big, beautiful, bold president, Donald Trump. And he wanted to open our borders. Biden himself said this election is about who we are and who we want to be. I believe we are a nation that welcomes those fleeing persecution and seeking asylum, not a nation that turns our back on them. So what changed? After 4 years of migrant rapes and migrant crimes that have killed your daughter, that have killed your sons, that have stolen your jobs, while also simultaneously putting a strain on our welfare state that Democrats keep giving money to them instead of our homeless veterans. Biden has realized that Donald Trump was right, that immigration is a problem, but it's far too late. Don't make the mistake come November. This ad was paid for by Super Predators for America PAC. Okay, boom, there you go. All it is, you got to fucking point to like all of his previous promises in the last campaign around and go, that's what he did. That's what he did. Look at him. That's all he did. He ruined the country. He opened the fucking borders. Okay. He opened the goddamn borders. Now he wants to close it, but it's too fucking late.